Thanks for attending the last one of the day. I appreciate it. Hopefully everyone has a drink and is enjoying themselves for the day, or the last 15 minutes of the night here. I'm Cheryl Cage. I'm a principal security strategist for the Global Security and Compliance Acceleration Program, where I focus on accelerating and automating compliance for customers and partners building solutions on AWS. And so I have up here partner bundles. So really, what are AWS partner bundles? And I'll just touch upon these briefly as we'll dive into them on the next slides. But GSCA Partner Bundles were created as a way to simplify and take the operational burden off of our customer's shoulder when it comes to navigating security and compliance requirements on AWS. They're really designed for customers to navigate security, compliance, and privacy requirements globally. And it's just a way to streamline and simplify this process. And I'll ask by a show of hands here, but how many people here have additional, time for time, resources, and skill? I mean, does anyone? And that's why you built on the cloud, right? Because cloud in and of itself is here to operationalize efficiencies for our customers. And that's what we're striving to do with these GSCA partner bundles is leveraging our AWS GSCA partners to simplify and streamline this process for our customers. And if you look at this Thomson Reuters findings here, and I'll just summarize these. We need to automate, utilize automation that's going to save on time and resources so you can innovate. We also, because effective compliance management can position your team to focus as be a trusted and reliable entity in the market. It's really important to get that right because ultimately that is what's going to drive your business and innovation. Being able to enter into new markets, being able to develop that security and compliance roadmap, that is truly what's going to get you into that global growth. So the building blocks for compliance right now, and our GSCA partners have helped over 1,000 customers since inception in 2019 to achieve compliance requirements on AWS. And our GSCA team is made up of former security and compliance auditors and assessors that we have that deep experience with moving workloads through the different compliance verticals. And our partners are the ones that are the big piece of our program. They're the expert vetted security and compliance partners. We break them down into 3 areas. So one, we have our ISVs, or independent software vendors. So you can think of those as the SaaS solutions that have products available in AWS Marketplace. 2, we have our SIs, or solutions or systems integrators. And they generally help with automating and building out your environment, either by tailored mechanisms, or they have full solution suites for that. And then 3rd, we have our consulting partners. And our consulting partners we break down into 2 areas. So we have our advisors. So you can think of these as your virtual CISOs. And then second, we have our assessors. So you can think of these as your auditors or third-party assessment organizations. So what we did was we engaged with our GSCA partners last year, because we launched this initiative last year, and we asked them to partner together to create full and complete compliance solutions that we can have available for our customers on AWS Marketplace. And what these ultimately do, and what our findings have, is they ultimately save time, resources, and costs for our customers because we are streamlining that process. Our partners are able to work together closely and hand off at every step. And one case study, a customer story I want to highlight here. We have several from this launch initiative, but one I really want to highlight is Inforce. So Inforce is one of our Australian customers. They are a workforce management solution company with over 2,300 organizations as customers, and then over 600,000 users. So their challenge was, due to migrations and acquisitions, they had a really tight deadline to meet ISO 27001 and SOC 2 compliance. And by purchasing the Eden Data, Drata, and Assurance Lab Partner Bundle in AWS Marketplace, Inforce was able to streamline that process from start to finish. And to break down this engagement, so during the engagement, Eden Data acts as a virtual CISO in this. So what they were able to do was they started with migrating the HR solution to AWS. They then were able to help build out and configure those controls and built in AWS services like Amazon GuardDuty, AWS CloudTrail, and AWS Config to help meet those ISO 27001 and SOC 2 compliance requirements. They then were able to develop that in the Drata platform and build out their comprehensive compliance program. And the Drata platform was able to seamlessly integrate with Inforce's AWS infrastructure to continuously monitor those security controls that Eden Data was able to configure for them. It's able to pull that automated evidence for the auditor to see, and that they were able to track, policy adherence and build out, documentation for policies and procedures. Then Assurance Lab was able to come in and audit this environment utilizing the evidence provided by the Drata platform, and then working with Eden Data for any additional evidence, and then any additional remediation efforts and the ongoing effort. They were able to complete this audit and certification, 2 months ahead of schedule, and from this, Inforce was able to onboard several new customers, and they've continued to grow and scale from achieving ISO 27001. And they have a continued relationship with this because it's not just a one-time thing. So this is, your audits are continuous. So each year they're building upon this with any new mergers and acquisitions they have, and also any other regulations they need to meet, whether that's privacy or if they're going to go and move into the public sector, or if they have healthcare workloads. So it's an ongoing thing. It was very successful. How do we break down these partner bundles with our partners? So we've broken them out into 5 key areas. So one, evidence collection and reporting. So you can you have those built-in and custom controls. You're able to collect that evidence. You want to do that continuous control monitoring, and you have policy templates built in there to help you start your journey with those. And then we have our advisory piece. So you can think of these as your virtual CISOs. They're helping you to define your audit scope. They're helping with gap and remediation assessments. They're helping you to they're working as a liaison between all the other partners to make sure that you have everything you need throughout your audit. And then they're going to continuously remediate any issues or help to build better processes inside the solution. And then we have hands-on help. So this can supplement your in-house engineering teams, but this is from migration to hands-on engineering of building out those actual technical controls, to also helping you remediate those technical controls inside your environment. And they're also the ones that can onboard to do the well-architected framework when you first migrate your solution to AWS. Then, of course, we have the auditor, which you need. So the auditor is going to, scope that environment, test those controls, and then provide that report. And then the pen testing, if the auditor doesn't, already do the pen testing, then we have a pen testing team that is based, that pen test is based on the framework requirements. And I will note that, depending on the compliance framework, not all of these 5 areas are always needed. So if you, take HIPAA, for instance, HIPAA doesn't have an audit requirement. It's not a certification. So you don't need an auditor for that. Also, some of our partners might meet, more than one of these focus areas with their solutions that they have. And so these are the GSCA partners that we currently have partner bundles with in AWS Marketplace, and they help to streamline that process for our customers. And they focus on anywhere from healthcare, so think HIPAA High Trust. We have financial services, so PCI SOC 2. We have public sector, so we're FedRAMP, CMMC. We've got NIST 800-171 in there. So we've got a bunch. I think we now have maybe 26 offerings on there with these different areas. And we also have privacy regulations that our partners offer. And lastly, I would be remiss if I didn't say we also have our first global offering for Essential 8 in Australia from GDIW here. So that is one of the big ones that we're happy to talk about today. So if you are a customer and you want to learn more about our program and becoming a partner in our program, come reach out to us. We're over at the booth right over there. And also, if you are a customer that needs to meet any of these regulatory requirements, definitely, hit us up with on these QR codes here, and we will certainly reach out and get you introduced to the partner that can meet your needs. So some key takeaways, obviously, from today are, we want to streamline with automation tools. You can take the human effort out of it, utilize the automation to stay ahead of all of your changing markets and regulatory demands. View compliance as a strategic initiative to build trust with your customers, and leverage AWS services and our partners to streamline and automate that process for you. And like I said, if you want to learn more about the GSCA program or our partner bundles, you can definitely reach out to us, and we would be happy to talk. And we have several partners in here if you want to talk to any of our partners.